ambiance. It's not too bustling of a city. Do this. There we go. So, last time, y'all finally made it out of the woods after, I believe, if the calendar in the game is to be trusted, it is the morning of the 12th of February, which puts you at right about a week and a few days from when you had departed Termarkt. So I'm going to make a note on this one, just so that's there.
So are we getting into town in the morning? Because I thought we were getting into town like right at sunset.
I can't. I thought I had made it so you guys got to town like midday.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
midday.
I remember midday.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think. No, you're good. I think I have the time here set at 11 a.m. Arrived. Cool. We're gonna save that. I don't know how I can let you all record notes on this calendar because it might be helpful, but I'll figure that out later. But anyway, you are all finally here in Deepfield. It's important to note, however, you're not. If you look at this image a little bit, you'll see that there's like a well-worn, like a well-trodden road that runs through Deepfield. And on the regional map, you can see that Deepfield is kind of at the end of like the road, which they do have roads that lead out of the town to parts of the woods where they can collect resources like rocks or like things, stones, minerals, and like lumber. But because you guys went through the wood, you're not entering from the well-worn path. You're coming in from this like oblique angle out of the tree line. Oh yes. You seem to be missing the map. I'm confused.
Yeah, if you guys have another map other than the regional map, I don't see it anywhere.
Oh
click
no,
on the
it's
top.
Yeah.
It says regional. Stop. Click onto Deepfield.
Yes, Deepfield Village Scene is where we're at.
Dee Dee's Cavern, entrance to the Fey Realm.
So at the very, very top of the foundry, like underneath where you put your search bar and shit, you'll see a little up arrow, and then you'll see regional map, Termarkt city map, and then Deepfield scene.
I don't have the Deepfield one. I only see the regional and the Termarkt.
It's probably because I don't know that Piper was here last time, and so she may not have been dragged over to like unlock it.
Let me do this.
That did it.
There we go.
Whatever you did.
Yeah, I'll activate Termarkt, the scene as well for the city, just in case you want to look at all of the pretty scenes of the cities, because I think they're neat.
Wait,
anyway.
I only have the scene. Is there a map as well?
No, this is basically it, because it's a very small.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very small little village, and like I'm using this artwork, but despite what you see depicted in the artwork, the buildings they have a very odd quality to them, much like any like buildings that were moved and dropped by the weirdning, 50 some odd years ago. The buildings are not placed in sensible locations. They're just kind of plopped down. And there are other buildings that have been kind of fused or smashed together such that like the architecture has kind of melded. So all of these buildings are predominantly wooden, and they have that kind of colonial aesthetic to them. But if you were to get closer, you could, or from a distance, you can see it a lot clearer. And like to the people living in the city, it doesn't seem as apparent. But from a distance, you can see that these buildings have this kind of Tim Burton-esque quality, where they list a little bit, or the spires are extra pointy and a bit too, like the steeples are a bit too narrow. It's not sinister so much as it is just a little off. And it's more apparent here than in Termarkt, where Termarkt, a lot of the buildings that had that quality, or at least some of the ones that did, were quickly like subsumed by the mass of buildings that became the city as it is today. Where this place seems to be like mostly buildings that were just kind of plopped here, and a few that were built around just to kind of make the place more livable. Termarkt was basically a handful of very, very big structures, and it became like a waypoint, like a landmark for people to flock towards. But you all are emerging from the woods. You can't really see where the tree line is, but you would be emerging from the tree line that's like kind of in the southeastern position. Like if you see like down here, because the image is mostly vertical, the tree line is cut off partially. But as you walk in from down here, you can see first and foremost the steeple of a church. And there is like the telltale ringing of the bell as you get to town, right at the start of the 11th hour. You hear the dong, gong, dong 11 times. And it's a crisp morning. You can hear like, it's not busy, but the city is awake. Farmers have kind of started their day, and you can see people are kind of maneuvering about. Some children are going to classes. Other people are going to their different bases of work about town. But this place, you in specific, oh my god, I can't do names. Electra and Madigan, both of you in specific, have been here at least maybe once or twice. And it's a pretty frequent stop between like hunters who are out on some kind of looking for some quarry, to stop by here and take a brief bit of rest. And you would both be aware of this place being in terms of its geographical location. Like if you look on the regional map, it is surrounded by the woods, and even though it is surrounded by the woods, it seems to be, I'm not gonna say well defended, but there's like an air of something around it. Some kind of loose, a type of energy that kind of is pervasive in the city or in the little town. But yeah, as you exit through the tree line, what do you all sort of feel as you come through and see the first like breath of fresh air and civilization?
Was this the place that I was told to check out about the curses, the like deep something tower, or no?
No, if you go on the
No.
regional map, you'll see the place that D had said there was a wizard in it, the Dark Wizard, or the wizard named Dark. His tower is over here, past this mountain ridge.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
quite a ways
gotcha.
away.
Okay.
So, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
How has Dee Dee is back in their old outfit?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because
Outfit?
yeah, the request had been made for D to go back in their old skin so that they are easier for you to keep track of, and they're not just gonna disappear into the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a token for that. I need to set it up really quick, but I will set up a
Yeah.
fresh DD token.
Okay. I was say like, how goes that
Skin
ironing
swap.
out?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look presentable to the populace?
Yeah, it does. It's not perfect, but it is definitely like more human. It's very clearly like the skin that they're wearing is definitely passably human. Just like a person who has a lot of scars, or like, is not as pretty up close when you start to notice like a lot of their face has a few noticeable scars that just really dig, but they are human.
Mhm. Well, that's one worry off the table there.
I mean, Willow is just going like Willow is slightly disappointed to be out of the woods, but is also like not. I'm imagining she probably has spotted winter already going into a town.
Oh yes, like you emerge from the wood, and once you step past that tree line, like the inflection point when the woods are no longer to your left and right, they are to your back. There's like a tangible bodily sigh of relief that isn't from you, but you feel it inside you. Um, she is just so ecstatic to be free of the constant greenery.
So Willow's probably has moved a little bit more towards the front. So, I suppose we need to be going to an inn? Or are you planning on staying in your tents?
I don't
So,
mind either way.
and Herod, in stark contrast to Willow, is standing at the back of the pack, and she's got her nice dress on, her red gown, and she's wearing the veil again, but she's just staring at the town and just faintly shaking a little bit. Doesn't seem to be moving very much.
Let me see if Willow would even fucking notice that.
Could very well be she's too excited.
Well, she's not super excited. She is seeing a friend that she has not seen in a hot second. Yeah, that's 20 plus. So I imagine Willow has turned to the party and like, we're going to an inn, and then sees Aang at the back of the group as I think I heard a Maddie like, I don't fucking care,
Yeah.
and just kind of like tilts her head. Hey, Harald, are you having a problem?
I do not like crowds or people.
Kind of a look over the top of her glasses, and then looks back towards the town. I'm assuming there's not really a quote-unquote crowd.
No, no. This is like, even with the start of the morning where you would see a lot of movement from place to place, there's easily a good like 15 to 20 feet between any individual or like smattering of people. This is like a rural area.
Slowly looks back to Angrad. Hmm. Is there a particular reason for this dislike?
There's a pause and a small fidget from Aang. When people array themselves in groups, they tend to, well, they can be very dangerous.
There's a kind of a slow blink, and Willow will just take a step closer until she is beside, like in between, like Maddie and Electra, and will just like grab Maddie's hands, like one of her hands, lift it and shake it, and then gesture towards Electra's like weapons on her belt. I think that there's more than enough danger in this group, but you don't have to worry.
There's a moment of consideration from Aang, and she looks over the gathered people. But it's a very sheepish look from somebody who's normally extremely aloof. It seems the second that the party crossed over into something like civilization, something in Aang seems to have shrunken away from her. She now no longer knows what she's doing. But she looks around the gathered group and takes a breath. Right. Yes, within our arms there's quite a great deal of power. Perhaps it is a foolish thing to worry.
You feel like a firm hand pat you on the back, Aang, and D, who has changed back into their old skin, which is refreshingly repaired. Not perfect, but repaired.
Now, Dee Dee.
Is Dee Dee once again, yes. And she gives you the firm pat on the back and just goes, "Don't worry, Ken, I got you. I won't let no crowds mess with you."
There's
Plus, we
a
can sit with side roads if you want.
What?
take
We
the
can
side
go
roads,
down
I think.
side roads. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
And Herod nods to them both. Thank thee for thy consideration and sympathy for this creature.
We're going to have to work on some of your vocabulary, but just stay close and nobody will be bothering you, I don't think. What the fuck
We
was
can
that
try.
accent?
It sounded regular to me.
It didn't feel right.
The mouth shapes weren't there.
No.
Ingharad lets out a breath, and even though she's still very nervous, seems to relax enough to walk.
Pushes Maddie towards Ankarad before she starts back towards the front of the group. Let us find an inn. Be good to put our things down.
You'll walk up next to Ingharad and just smile and kind of like poke her in the side of it. Got nothing to worry about. It's a really small town.
There's through the veil, it's a little hard to see her eyes, but you can see kind of the shifting of them, and it looks like her brows are rising in shock. This is a small town.
Well, yeah. I've been to a few bigger ones. Like town-wise, it's not like a city or anything.
This is practically a village.
Yeah.
I see. Just keeps nervously fiddling with. I imagine since this is a very old-fashioned Victorian-style dress, she has. I'm forgetting what the fuck they're called. I'm such a fake goth girl. The little. You would have these like bags, like little pouches and stuff attached to like a chain at your side, and that's what you would have in place of a
Pocket.
you know, yeah, like a pocket or a
Like a
pocketbook.
satchel?
It's not even a satchel. It's literally just
Small.
like, yeah, it's like if
a
you
clutch?
no,
No.
if you imagine like a baby mobile, I think they're called, whatever the thing is that floats above the baby's head,
Mhm.
like that, but some of them are like little pouches, and the whole thing attaches like around your waist. They dangle.
Mhm.
So, like the thing little cat toys you put catnip in?
Kinda, yes.
That was not the intention, but if the shoe fits.
It's like they got like really popularized because like nurses and shit would like just like have like a little notepad and a little pencil and like everything
Mhm.
on a chain that you then put on your belt essentially.
Yeah.
And so it's like just
Huh.
a massive keychain of all the shit that you would carry in a purse, and then a couple of like shinies that are like pretty and decorative that are just like hanging like where a like pocket watch might be.
Yeah.
Batman Victorian utility belt. Let's fucking go.
Pretty much.
Z, I knew you would know what I was talking about.
I am an
I
encyclopedia of useless facts.
imagine Aang has one of those, but it's leather, for obvious reasons. And she is fiddling with that as they walk.
It is
Like,
actually a
you
mobile. Like it can be called a mobile or it can be a chatelaine.
Chatelaine, that's the fucking word.
what a fucking I would have never been able to help you with that one. But I'm glad we got there nonetheless.
They
You start to move forward, and as you all start to walk in towards the village, you see, or you hear Dee Dee like hold up a finger and just go, "Whoop, let me just make sure of something really quick, if you don't mind." And she, in a very strictly animalistic gesture, will drop to her hands and knees in like drop to all fours in an animal crawl kind of way, and put her nose to the ground, and you see her very, very like fervently just sniffing, and she will take like kind of sit herself up and take a knee in a more human gesture and be like, "Oh, I'd reckon we got someone who passed through here. But funny thing, I don't think that little quarry of yours is alone no more."
Somehow I'm not surprised at that. don't suppose you have any insight as to who the accompanier might be?
She shrugs and just goes, I can tell you it's probably a man. Masculine looking one. Big, sweaty. And she leans down again, and you hear like another protracted like sniff. And she sits back up and she goes, I'd say he's easily late 30s, maybe early 40s. Don't smell like kin either. He's one of your types, and she gestures to like you, Electra, Paige, Pierre.
One of the odd types?
She like almost like it's a kind of a bother to her. She just rolls her eyes and just goes, a human? Like a full-blooded human. But as far as I can tell, it's just the one.
Yeah, well, that either makes it very easy or very hard. But, like I said, let us get into the center of town and find an inn. Usually there's some sort of gossip going around there.
Okay. Pierre looks relieved at the sight of even this small little town village type deal. Like this, being out of the woods makes Pierre feel leaps and bounds better and safer and just overall happier.
Paige wants to go to town. She just wants to get into the city. She wants to get into civilization. She's ready.
As they're walking, like, I'm assuming they're getting some interesting looks. Because this is a small town and these are strangers.
Oh yeah. You like y'all walk up through the middle of town, and Aang, like just for your anxiety's sake, just looking around, there are a lot of people, like easily 20 or 30 that you can see all around you, but they are not close enough that you're required to make any sort of save at all. It's just like, holy shit, there's so many. This is the most you have seen in a while.
Firstly, moment of appreciation for anxiety. I think we just let that slide by, and I think it deserves its time in the sun. But Aang, as they're walking, will stay very close to Maddie. Sort of like a pet that has no conception of personal space whatsoever. Just like very, very close, shoulders brushing, stepping in time. Doesn't say anything, but this is how she's making it through this.
Here, as you're walking, like how are you gonna have Aang try to like hide her anxiety at all?
I don't think so.
Because like if you look really outwardly anxious, Pierre would actually make a point to glide over to you, and he would like bump your elbow, and just be like, "Hey, if you get nervous at all, you feel free to reach out to me and Paige. We are good with crowds and people. That is our specialty."
Aang looks to Pierre and then looks to Paige, who I assume is right by him.
Imagine she's a couple steps in front, happy to be in town. I feel like she did pay attention once image of Pierre slowed down. So I imagine she's twisted around a little bit. Enthusiastic smile and thumbs up. Of like, yeah, what he said.
Thank thee. I'd hate to be the cause of trouble for thee, though. I'm certain there are many other things more worthy of thy attentions.
Pierre looks a little like he doesn't look upset at all, but he looks a little wounded. Like, well, you're important, but he doesn't know how to put those words together, so he just kind of like, yeah, and then just pats you once on the shoulder and slides back over to Paige. And just goes, I hope she reaches out to us.
You can. It's not a trouble at all. We're friends, so it's okay.
Aang is quickly growing a little shyer now, and looks down beneath the veil. Truly, there be no need to worry for some carrot. I shall endure as best I can.
Okay. But if there's too many people, can just, call me over. I do like to talk to people, so you could be doing me a favor.
We might be able to get you to do us a favor, Paige.
Oh.
You and Pia are able to do a show without
We can
all the
always do
extra
a show.
things.
What?
Without all of your extra things.
As in, like, equipment?
Yeah.
She's like, okay. She's like, imagine she's like, we can always do a show. Like, wait, okay. She stops for a second. She thinks. She puts a hand on her chin. We could do like a little one. What we have?
Pierre like kind of digs around in his pockets and pulls out like a few like gadgets, so to speak.
And I have some stuff that I have me. So, I mean, we could. It wouldn't be like a big show, but it would still be, a Beige and Pierre show. Just, small. Holds up 2 fingers in like an inch.
Well, if we find ourselves particularly out of sorts around here, or needing a little bit of good favor, I doubt that the people around here would be opposed to seeing a little bit of a show. Might buy us a little bit of attention and goodwill if we need it.
She, nods. And she kind of like, kind of bounces back and forth between like the heels of her feet to the ball of her feet, kind of back and forth for a second. It's like, okay, so if we get the chance to do that, I can do that. If Pierre, do you want to do that, or is it just a fish? It could be just a fish.
I would hope. It'd be remiss of me to let you do this on your own. I can't let my sister go up and do any sort of performance without me.
Of course. So, okay, so you get both the fish and the beer, and we can do that. It could be, it could be fun. It's going to be fun because we're going to be awesome.
It is, how do you say, 2 for the price of 1?
I'm sorry, my headphone cut out the wrong fucking time.
Pierre just said it's how you say 2 for the price of 1?
She nods. It's like, yes! Okay, so,
So we have that in our back pocket if we need it.
yes! She nods.
Who's out here trying to plan, but also trying to, like, divert attention from Aang.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Paige is just, like, you're very classic social butterfly, extrovert type. So she would have literally no issues with having attention directed to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, hey, go talk to her.
Time
So-
to make a new friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joe, question like of lore and setup here.
Uh-huh.
So let me go back and look at this. So like we have like Daggerhaven and Deepfield and Murcott all as like other towns outside of Terramarked, all smaller than Terramarked, right? Are
Yes, the only city that is larger than Termark is Starwick.
okay. So are they also like? Is there also like the various guilds and like Inquisition and all that type of stuff? Is there a presence of those in these smaller towns, or is that kind of unique to like Terramark and possibly Starwick?
Kind of unique to Termarked. Termarked has branched out. If there are those specific guilds like the Hunters and the Inquisition and like the ones that are named, those are exclusively like based in Termarked, but they roam around. There are other factions and guilds that are from other cities, like larger cities. Like there is for example a similar faction to the Hunters that's found in not Deepfield,
Starwick?
Daggerhaven.
Daggerhaven.
Daggerhaven, which they're called the Rangers. And they're very, very small by comparison to the Termarked Hunters. The Hunters number the hundreds, the Rangers number the tens. But yeah, there are similar factions, but the only ones that like you would know of, like the Inquisition and the ONR and that whole setup and the Hunters of Termarked, they are pretty much all primarily based in Termarked, with the church extending a little bit into Starwick.
Okay. And is there any communication of anything or interaction that has been set up, even small, between similar factions?
Yes. So, like you would know, the Termarked Hunters are kind of they're kind of an isolationist group in a way, where they kind of just do their thing because they're really good at it. But they've run across Rangers before, and like in passing. But it's usually just kind of like they walk by each other. You know, everybody's doing their own thing. It's that sort of vibe.
What about clockworkers?
Yes, with the clockworkers, so in Starwick, they're called like the clockworker adjacent faction is called the Grand Innovation. The Grand Innovation is like leaps and bounds bigger than the Clockworkers Guild. It is a massive like moving machine of advancement and science and innovation, obviously. And they routinely communicate with the Clockworkers. God, excuse me. A lot of this communication and relay is done via the Explorers Guild from Termarked, because they do a lot of the postal work. The Explorers Guild is, of all of the different factions in Termarked, the Explorers Guild is the one that has the most outward communication with any other nearby regional city. Because of their express purpose to do like mail and postage and to brave the woods for that purpose.
But
So if
these
you
smaller
like tried
towns,
to name drop,
these smaller towns are probably don't have anything that'll be adjacent to or linked to clockworkers, right?
yeah, if anything, they would have like maybe a group of people, but they would not have nearly the numbers or like capabilities or funding that like any of the other guilds would have. Like Deepfield is a very small town that has kind of like reached the peak of its growth, so to speak, because it is stunted by the inability to push out against the woodland. But it's also safe in that same sort of train of thought. There might be clockworking adjacent like innovators here, but yeah, they're not going to have like a group name of any kind. And if you tried to name drop it all, there would be some recognition depending on who you ask. Certainly, weirdlings. That term has kind of grown from Termarkt as a result of the church, but it's not the exclusive term for like a person who has strange features, strange magical features, I should say. But like, if you were to say you're a Termarkt hunter, you would get recognized. People would be like, "Oh, okay, cool. It's either that, or you're a ranger, or you might be from some other town." But usually, you're one of the two.
Okay.
So we're looking for an inn.
You're looking for an inn.
Oh, is it the
Mind a
innkeeper?
nice bed and a nice meal.
You know of a simple bed and breakfast. There might not be enough rooms for everyone, but there will at least be probably 3 or 4 beds to share amongst yourselves, split up however you like. The little bed and breakfast is it's called like the nest egg.
That's a good one.
Aw.
And I'm not joking. It is not like an inn. It is a literal like house that it's the closest thing is like ye old Airbnb.
Yeah, like if either Electra, from the way it sounded like, if Electra or Maddie have been here to like know exactly where to go, fucking follow them. Or if not, Willow is just gonna wander until she finds it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, I'll lead the way. It's not too far from here.
Yeah, you've been there before.
Maddie's preoccupied.
Iris, please get
Mhm.
closer to your mic.
Iris, I respectfully request for you to eat
Just
your
a
mic.
smidge. Don't tempt her, because I know the power is in Iris to blow
Hey
out
there.
the mic.
Hey there.
Hello.
That's much better. Thank you.
ASMR.
Maddie is kind of busy right now.
Maddie is on Thundershirt duty.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to this place. We set up. I think.
Bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Aang would probably say she doesn't need a bed.
Okay. So just walking up to this place, the outside of it, it is a very, very quaint little like not white picket fence, but like white post shingled like little, again, like slightly tilted Tim Burton-esque colonial home. There's a second story and just a little sign out front that it has a picture of like an egg in a nest and like a chicken that is like, I don't know how to explain it aside from like the chicken is exclaiming and like leaping up out of the nest very happily. And just walking up to it, there's about 4 or so people who are on the porch. A couple of just old, gruff-looking folks, and none of these people are recognizable to either Electra or Maddie. But like, You both know that like Deepfield isn't against outsiders, but the people of the town know when you're from out of town. And these just like 4 or so dudes who are sitting on the porch, all from like different walks of life, they give y'all the stinkest eye because you all look very eccentric. And in this particular case, you will have to roll a check to try and get past them. You will have to roll a will save.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, will save. Let's see what we got here. It's a 7. I'm an expert at will saves, so I love that.
Mhm.
Love
Mhm.
that for me. Let's see what we got. I got a 13, so that's a 20.
20. Okay. So it's you hesitate for a minute. Like you just can't your feet just dead stop. But after just that brief minute of hesitation, you steel yourself. There's only 4 of them. It's not too bad. And then you feel a reassuring pat on your arm, and Dee Dee will like loop her arm around your right side arm, and like kind of reaffirm her presence. Like, don't worry, darling, I got you.
Sandwiched between Maddie and Dee Dee, I doubt there's any safer place that you could be, really. So, Aang steels herself, takes a breath, looks to both of them, and then offers a quiet thank thee, and will head inside with everyone else, and doesn't really give the people outside very much in the way of attention.
Don't worry, Maddie will.
Oh, please
She'll get-
roll intimidation.
She'll give them the stink eye right back.
Can I help?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. You both can absolutely
Oh,
roll
Jesus
intimidation
Christ.
to fucking stank eye each
And-
separate group.
Once again, it is Paige and Willow that are going to have to play nice with the fucking place that we are at.
Okay, they started it.
They. Oh boy.
I still like
They
the fact
outnumber
that,
us.
I still like the fact that like we were accused of being the ones that were going to be a problem.
You do have your once a session starting hero point if you want to re-roll
no,
it.
thank you. No, thank you.
Maddie. Okay, all right, Maddie. How do you stink eye them? Is it just giving them the eye?
She doesn't even fully turn to look at them, but like as she's passing, she'll have this like side glance at them kind of thing. So she's looking and slightly turn her head. So she's looking at them from an angle and then kind of grin, showing one of her fangs a little bit.
Okay, make me a will save.
Oh,
Just a little
okay.
one.
I don't want to.
Just a little one. Woo! Sheesh. Okay.
God
you-
fucking damn.
You like give them that half lid corner of your eye look, and then grin real wide and show off the exaggerated canines that you have. And like these 2 crusty old dudes, like they're sitting there with their work shirts and their suspenders. They see that and they're just like, nope. And you hear the shuffling as they get up out of their chairs and they like grab a hat. One of them grabs like a beat up brown coat and you're just like, no, we're good. They shuffle down off the porch.
Look, more seats.
I do need to remind you that we do need to play nice with them, at least until we get some information.
Maddie, you get a pat on your arm from Oh my God, from Dee Dee. And Dee Dee just goes, "You did great, darling." She gives you a little thumbs up.
Maddie was going to comment at Willow, but Dee Dee interrupted her, and her look just kind of sours a bit if she just doesn't comment.
Hmm.
You're being praised by Dee Dee, of all people. What does that say?
Fuck them. Who needs them? So, you
Going
all
inside.
Yeah.
enter.
Yep. I don't know them.
The two of them scoot off and away. As you enter, you've at one point or another, both Madigan and Electra, you've probably stayed at the Nest Egg. Like, it's one of the only places to stay that isn't the church. And the church here is sequestered by the ONR. It used to not be, but it has been converted. But as you walk in here, it's a a familiar sight. Like, very quaint. There's little pictures on the walls. There's like for lack of a better way of describing it, it's got Cracker Barrel aesthetic vibes. Like, but more earnest because Cracker Barrel sucks.
What?
But
It's a restaurant.
don't worry about it.
It's a
just a
southern
restaurant.
Horrible restaurant.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's got like the quaint like historical tools and everything on the walls, which in this like time it wouldn't have that actually. It just has the vibe of it because it's like an old colonial wooden house. But you walk in and which you recall from the last time you had stayed here, which probably within the last year, give or take, few months maybe. Probably within the last 10 to 14 months, the proprietor of the Nest Egg was a very, very lovely old woman and her elder husband, who they were real, like, they were old folks and they were very nice. And when you walk in, they would always typically stand right about at the front desk area, which the front area, which is like a vestibule that stands before the staircase, it has been kind of configured such that there's a desk, so you can talk to them and then like go upstairs to a room or go off to the side and have a nice meal, or just go into the sitting area and hang out. But when you walk in this time, neither of those lovely old folks are there. Instead, you see a woman who seems to be maybe somewhere in her 20s or 30s. It's kind of hard to tell, but she is very, very pretty. She has like a very kind of mundane beauty about her. She doesn't seem to have a lot of makeup of any kind, but she has her hair done up in a very plush, I don't know the name of the hairstyle, like the bun, but she's not who you expected, but you recognize her, at least like by face, and she worked here. Probably a relative of some kind. But when you walk in, she like kind of perks up from behind the counter. She was in that like bored, kind of leaning on her elbow, and she was flipping through a book. But when you walk in through the front door and you hear the little ring of the bell as you hit it, she perks right back. She perks right up and she just goes, "Oh, hello. Excuse me." And she, like, you can hear the slap of her book being shut. Aang, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. Let's see what we got. 17, and then perception is 7 to 24.
24. So, Aang, you recognize that she has what appears to be an old Bible. Like the classic black leather bound with the gold cross embossed in it. Something that you recognize as like for what it is. But she shuts it as you walk up.
Bang will immediately seem a bit more relieved and relax slightly. She doesn't say anything. She's just pleased.
Well, who cares about a book? There's a person. Paige fucking walks in with a very friendly wave and smile, like, hello. Fucking walk to the person. Who fucking nerd? Looking at a book? Who reads? Anyway.
Yeah, so what do you say? I'll post her picture here in a second.
Oh, yeah.
What do you say, Amy?
I was waiting for the picture.
You can talk.
Yeah,
No, I
give me
can't.
the introduction, because she'll introduce herself with her name, and then I'll post it.
Did she introduce herself first, or?
No, you go first.
Okay.
You're the one that said hi first. You must continue.
Ah,
Okay. Cool. Sorry, I thought it was in response. I don't know. Imagine Paige is very happy to see another person, a normal person, presumably. We don't know yet. She could have some fucked up shit about her, but for now, she's a normal, mundane person, and Paige is very happy to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige just walks in, very friendly smile. Probably fixes her collar a bit because she's inside now. And she's gonna walk up to her with a smile. She's like, hello. I hope we are not interrupting, but would we be able to make arrangements to stay here?
She looks at you and smiles. Just goes, "Of course, of course you can." Hi. First, may I ask who the name is for?
Hello, my name is Fish.
And she reaches over and grabs a little ledger and starts jotting down the names. And she looks up at the rest of you and just goes, "And I assume you'll want a room for everyone?"
As many as you have to spare, at least.
She smiles up and just goes, "Well, we currently don't have anyone staying, but unfortunately," and she kind of awkwardly tilts her head, just goes, "we only have 4 rooms, 4 beds, but they're quite large."
That is okay.
She kind of puts her hand to her mouth and just goes, "Oh, pardon me. My name is Isabel." And she reaches a hand out to you, Paige.
Paige is going to gasp and smile. Hello, my name is Paige Isabel Cuvier. The big smile of like, hey, same name, sort of.
She seems very charmed by this, and she just goes, "Oh, how lovely. And
That's a very pretty name."
Thank you. It was my grandma's. Oh, or my grandmother's.
I'm sure she was lovely, because, this name has great power to make the person very lovely.
She nods, and Paige, with a pass, actually, Paige and Willow and Anghared, when she says, when she mentions that her name comes from her grandmother, you can see there's just a twinge of something behind her eye. But she doesn't seem to waver much. But welcome to the nest egg. It's been a while since we've had any visitors. People wanting a room.
the sinusitis is so cute.
Yeah, why would no one want to stay here? Where's the owners, by the way?
And she shrugs, and to your first comment, she's like, well, everyone in town already has a home and already has a bed.
Oh,
The most we get are some of the teamsters who come here to smoke on the porch, and she gestures to the porch. And, well, the owners, my grandfather and grandmother, they passed away.
oh.
Sorry to hear that.
Aang will offer a quick but sincere blessing in Latin.
You like say a blessing in Latin, and that immediately catches her attention. Like, she looks at you and then tilts her head and just goes, she shakes her head a little bit, kind of caught off guard, and just goes, right, sorry, are you all, can I get all of your names for the various rooms, if you don't mind?
Electra, that one's Madigan, that one's Willow, that one's Enhared, that one's Paige, that one's Pia.
Pure waves. And she like quickly jots down all the names in the ledger. Just goes, right, well, you're welcome to any of the rooms upstairs. Of course, not my room, but you'll know it when you see it. The rest of the rooms should be fresh and cleaned, but I'll make sure to change the sheets before you're back if you're going out again.
Willow nods. We probably will take a little jaunt around town and see what's going on. Would there happen to be a mayor or town leader of some sort around here?
She kind of shrugs a little bit and says, well, there was a mayor, and, well, he's gone now. It has been, the duties of the mayor have been passed to the church. And she gestures in the direction of the church you walk past.
Willow kind of tilts her head a little bit. Why am I sensing that there's a little bit of a story behind those words?
You can roll me a diplomacy check to try and persuade her with that.
I actually am decent at diplomacy. Let's see.
Mhm.
My is a 23.
A 23. Okay. She kind of shrugs and like she doesn't like yank really hard on her collar, but she pulls very gently at it and then leans over to the side to see if those teamsters she mentioned are still on the porch. Tilting her head, she can't see any, so she leans back and says, you didn't hear it from me, but there's been a lot of changing lately. The ONR has become a bit more present in our lives here. And she shrugs and seems a little forlorn about it, because it's not unexpected.
But not wholly welcome, I see.
She looks a little wounded and just goes, we were a quiet little town, and things worked for us. At least, mostly. But the ONR, I'm not sure what changed, but they've become more present in various ways. I'm not sure I believe what they said about the mayor, but I'm not sure I want to believe the alternatives I can come up with. the story that they gave us is that, well, the mayor was relocated to represent growing interests in the expansion and development of the city. And so he left for Starwick, which is a shame, if true.
There's just a little frown from Willow. She doesn't comment. Just gives a little nod. That's unfortunate. Always like quaint little towns. And I imagine she is stepping forward and like pulling out a money pouch to like pay for all of their shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's relatively cheap. It'll just be like a gold per person. And you could stay for easily like 10 days. But she looks over towards you, Electra, and also kind of you, Maddie, and also kind of you, Aang, because you are, or no, you're not wearing your armor and gear, are you?
No, she's wearing her nice dress.
Yeah.
And her
So she
veil.
looks at Electra and Maddie and says, "Oh, you're not hunters, are you? From Termart?"
Yep,
That's
yeah.
right.
I think there's someone in town who is looking for you. She arrived, I think, about 2 days ago. But she came straight here looking for anyone who bought up a room. And I'm not sure where she's staying, but it's not here. And she kind of shrugs.
Did she say where? Did she give like a place of meeting if she met someone?
Yeah, she said that she would spend at least most of her days close to the well. And you would know that, both of you would know that the well is the name for the, like, bar.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
She kind of, like, Isabel kind of awkwardly shrugs and just goes, I can't blame you. You all do hard work. A cold and stiff drink might be welcoming after such a long journey. She seemed distraught.
Distraught.
She notices you again, Aang, and just goes, well, yes, she was expecting you all to have arrived, I would guess.
Whither lays this well?
Say what?
Where is the well?
I
I
know
was
the
waiting
way.
for the question. I was waiting for it.
I was
I know the
really,
way.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's not keep her waiting.
But why is she at a well?
I'm assuming it's a bar, Paige.
Okay, so we're going now, right?
Yeah,
Maddie
the
is
second
directing Aang.
Yeah, the second that like Aang gets any form of direction whatsoever, she is outie with determination and about as quickly as she can move while she's still in shoes. Obviously, she can move a lot faster if she were to kick them off, but she is moving just about as fast as she can.
Paige, before they go, we'll turn back to Isabel to say goodbye. Be
Yeah.
polite.
Willow, I imagine like the fucking like the hunters and Aang and Dee Dee all just immediately like fucking like cartoon like puff of smoke out
Right?
the door.
The normals have to remember to be polite.
Willow, I will say, will put down like an extra like 2 or 3 pieces of gold for the extra for like the rooms and everything.
Mhm.
Good to see an old friend. We do apologize for the rudeness.
No, don't be. It's, if anything, it's nice to see some new faces and a change of pace. And you have interesting company. And she gives you like a little sly, kind of quirked grin.
That's one word for it. Isn't that right, Paige?
Is that just one word? There's so many words.
We'll be back a little bit later on. Is there any rules that we should be aware of for your establishment?
She blinks and kind of tilts her head and thinks like, well, aside from the obvious, no rough housing. And, well, my grandfather and grandmother might be gone, but I would prefer to keep swearing to a minimum. And she looks kind of awkwardly shy about it.
Why do I feel personally attacked?
As in you, as in Z, or Willow?
Z.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
nobody
same.
said any curse words. Nobody said any. But she's just like, yeah, I get that. She kind of looks in the direction of the hunters, and she's like, they have a hard line of work. But if you could not just say some of the very, very rough curse words, it would make me feel better.
Paige just smiles and nods. She's like, okay. Well, I will do my best to make sure that, they know to be polite.
Pierre, like, kind of wipes the edge of his nose and just goes, we will keep them in line as best we can.
She nods. She's like, and she kind of says something. She says this in French, and she just says, do you speak French? It's in French with a smile.
She tilts her head and gives you an awkward smile, and she says something back in, I don't think either of you speak this, but do either of you speak Spanish?
Ah, shit.
Claro que sí. Estamos hablando en español ahora. Hola, prima. ¿Qué estamos haciendo? ¿Qué tal?
Subtitles are in Spanish. It's okay.
And Paige, just kind of tilts her head, like, close, but not one day.
Yeah, Willow knows, like, I imagine broken Spanish. I had to go back and check what I wrote. English, French, and German she is fluent in, and then she has Spanish, Italian, and Chinese she knows little bits of.
With the little bit that you know, you can roll to try and parse the whole of it. But like with the little bit that you're able to catch, she said something, like an apology, and then said literally the word Spanish.
Disculpa que solamente hablo español.
What am I rolling?
Something. Okay, there's another roll. Damn it, Paige just wanted to know if she could swear in French.
If you want to roll me a, if you don't have it, you can add lore language and consider yourself trained.
I do not have lore language.
Ooh, new lore drop.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it would be just an intelligence check that you are trained in.
Nice.
Trained. That gives me that. Okay, let's see. Big money. Yeah, that's a 22.
Jesus, there's DC 15, so you pass it with gusto. You're
My
able to.
minimum lore for anything I'm trained in is a +8.
That's fine. But you're able to parse. She essentially said like, I'm sorry, I don't understand, but I do speak Spanish.
Paige just nods, looks, like, does like little like snap of just like so close. Imagine she got just like approximately like 15 to 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're with having French and having like a little bit of that, I guess, like the similar pieces of overlap. You're able to parse like the word sorry in Spanish.
And Paige is just cataloging. Okay. To be safe, no swearing in French either. It's the only reason why she asked.
I imagine, like, as she spoke, both Paige and Pierre had that, like, oh, kind of moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
But is there? Were you saying? Sorry, go on.
No, I mean, is there anything else Willow want to say? Because I'm about to be like, bye.
No.
Okay. So Paige with a little bow, in a wave says, "Okay, so we'll see you later. Thanks again. It was so nice meeting you."
She nods and waves, and it's like, it was nice meeting you, Isabel, too.
Isabel, you're that Isabel Prime, because it's the first name, so it goes first.
She kind of tilts her head and just goes,
You're okay.
Sure.
Wait, pause. This
What?
is above. Fucking Paige doesn't know other things, but understands what Prime is.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
No, see,
Isabel,
you need to know that for cooking. Prime meat.
prime ingredient.
Yeah, it's not just a number. It's like it's like primary. That's what I was using it for. Primary, as in the first one.
That's a number thing. That's not like best like the other shit.
She can count, motherfucker.
I would argue, if I may, that Premiere is close enough to Prime that she could probably know that as a number word as well.
Premiere is her brother.
Firstborn Pierre is the Premiere. Okay. Fucking whatever. I meant more of
You made
the
a good impression on her, don't worry.
fucking bye. Whatever. Time skip 30 seconds.
Yeah, so if speaking of time skip 30 seconds, give me like 2 minutes. It's warmy time.
Okay.
Something just dawned on me.
What?
We need to leave a babysitter with Dee Dee.
I'm assuming she's with the hunters.
Yeah, I'm assuming she has attached herself to Aang, is what it has sounded like.
Yeah.
I mean, Willow doesn't care if Dee Dee gets left with her, but I feel like the hunters would say no to that.
She can just stand outside for
yeah, if you guys are running off to Hawk, you're just gonna walk right in with Dee Dee.
I just had that thought. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's on y'all to figure out. Y'all are the ones that immediately disappeared as soon as you heard like a hint that Hawk might be around.
Well, it seems we were all heading in that direction.
Yeah, but you guys, there was no even effort of pleasantries with this woman who gave you the information. You're just like, somebody has been here for us. Cool, immediate dip.
I mean, I just came back, but Aang has the excuse that does no social graces.
And Maddie said we might as well not keep her waiting.
Look, hunters are goal oriented, okay?
Y'all are just impolite, is what it is.
And Herod has a valid excuse.
Yeah, and Garrett does.
These other two
You know what?
fuckers know how society works.
Yeah, it's fine. Willow and Paige are going to make sure that we keep good relationships with people.
I think you're blowing this way out of proportion. I don't think
We're
leaving is
joking.
going to
We are
ruin-
joking, Piper. This is a joke.
And when we're talking about the good relationships, part of the joke is that immediately two of you are like giving evil eyes to the old dudes on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
They started it.
Mm-hmm.
They did start it.
And now you guys sound like 5-year-olds. They started it. Well, you didn't have to join in.
Maddie ended it. That is being a proper adult.
Ma'am.
She ended it. And she didn't do anything.
She didn't lay a single finger on them. And that's an accomplishment.
She just smiled at them. That's polite. Smiling's polite.
I am returned.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Okay, so we have. I also heard a little bit of the discussion about where Dee Dee is. Dee Dee can be with the hunters or with the non-hunters, wherever is most beneficial for Dee Dee to be. But she would like to be attached to Aang because she likes Aang.
Hunters, how are you feeling about it? Should we leave her?
I just don't want Maddie to get grounded the instant she sees her mother again, so. I'm
You
just
let
saying.
the Dee Dee out of the cage?
Well, if you put Dee Dee with the other two, then Dee Dee acts as security for the mages as well.
Well, that's true. But then Dee Dee's with the mages.
Which, I mean, if Dee Dee gets the first move is not a good thing, but I feel like if it's like mano-y-mano, the mages have the better shot versus Dee Dee than Maddie just trying to outstrength Dee Dee.
Maddie will take offense to that.
Well, she can't because she's not here, is she?
Yeah, above table, I am fine with it being with the mages, if that would be better.
Yeah, I'm good with either.
Mm-hmm.
Iris, do you have any thoughts?
Just don't want Maddie to get grounded instantly.
Okay.
She's going to get grounded.
We'll leave her with the mages.
In 2 minutes.
That's 2 minutes to
It's-
butter her up.
Both ways you slice it, like Dee Dee would be happy to be in either location because on one way she's like, okay, cool. I get to be with Aang. And the other way, it's like, okay, great. They're going to see Hawk. That's going to go badly for me, so I'm going to fuck off. Yeah. So, we will. You guys all walk outside of the inn, and you see Dee Dee hanging out there waiting for you, and she will catch up with you. And as for the record, as she's been walking around in town, like as you came into town, she has taken the cloak that, like the cloak and leathers, and some of the gear that she had worn as Dee. And kind of refashioned them to be more feminine in their appearance, and wears the cloak over her head a little bit to kind of just to keep prying eyes off her. But she'll catch up with you, and the hunters plus Aang. You all rush, excuse me, rush to the where is it? Let's go here. You rush to the well. Let me go here. I need a little bit of tavern ambience. It's not packed, but there's a decent number of people in here. There's probably like about 10 or so, maybe 15, spread out and about. The well itself, though, running around through the city, it's part near. It's like kind of in the main thoroughfare. Like if you're looking at the actual scenery, it's kind of in the middle of town around that circular structure. But let's do this one. There you go. So, as you are rushing over there, the well is probably the most boring looking of any of the buildings here. It was manufactured post Weirdning, and it's very rudimentary in its design. It's not painted up or fancy in any way. It's very kind of drab looking. It is literally just the service bar for anybody who wants a drink. But it's very populated with some of the Teamsters, which most of these people have gotten up and started their day like before the sun is up. So right around now is at like the 6-hour mark for them. So they're getting close to like they're getting close to having worked a full 8-hour day, but they're going to end up going back out there and building more structures and doing more work. So this is like effectively their lunch break. So why would they not bust out the liquor, right? Or beer rather. But let's do this one. Anyway, as you approach Aang, if you want to go into the bar, you will have to make another will save, because it is a cramped space, and a lot of people would be eyes on you.
And as Aang is met, her determination and her fear are at war. Let us see how she does here. Alright, what the fuck is that? I rolled a 2, Chief.
Oh yeah, a 2. What's your bonus? You want to throw
7?
the bonus on there?
So
All
this
right,
is 9. 9 total. 9.
So with a 9, no, you like Maddie, I don't know if you're running or if Aang is running as well or what have you, but the moment Aang gets close enough to that door, and some of the kind of shuttered windows, and the shutters, they're horizontal shutters that are on a vertical like kind of hook, so they let light in, but you can't really see well through them. But like running up past it, you can hear the carousing and like general merrymaking of tavern noise. But Aang like grinds to a stop.
She grinds to a stop and everything goes stiff and she recoils. And I think she kind of hisses a little as she's trying to get herself to gather her senses, and she just can't. Like her hands are shaking as she keeps trying to reach for the door handle, and she can't.
So Maddie, who kind of had her arm interlocked with Aang, because friends being supportive, kind of like goes to take a step forward, but kind of feels the stop, the pullback, and she looks at Aang. She's like, "Aang, are you okay?"
There are so many in there, aren't there?
I mean, I guess it is a little busy, but I mean, she kind of looks her over, kind of realizing she's shaking, and it didn't really cross Maddie's mind that like that Aang would be scared. More just like, yeah, I don't like people. Like, not actual terrified almost, it seems.
Yeah, she's terrified.
Oh, okay. Here. She'll lead her over to like the side of the building, kind of away from the door.
And will follow very
Yeah.
stiffly.
Get away from the people, get away from the sound, you go off the side. Okay. Well, if you want, you could wait here and I can try and find her.
Please, if thou couldst bring her here, Mardigan, she needs me.
You stay with it. I'll go get Hawk.
She thinks about it and looks to Electra. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Just walks in.
Okay. So Aang and Maddie wait outside. Electra, as you walk in, you are greeted with that very familiar, like kind of packed tavern vibe. It's I want some slightly different music. There's not really good music for this right now. But
I did want to comment. Sorry, I didn't get to finish.
oh, what's up?
I was gonna say she was gonna try and calm Aang down, but she does want to go in to make sure, that she is there, kind of thing. But she wants to calm
Okay.
Aang first. This is kind of the goal.
Sure. You don't have to roll for it because Aang, while Aang is outside, is calm-ish, put together-ish. If you wanted to, well, let me see. If you wanted to try and roll, like, to get some mechanical impact, you could certainly try.
Just want friends to feel better. It's
Mm-hmm.
important. I imagine maybe she pulls out like a kind of a piece of cloth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know this will sound like kind of weird, but it might help.
Aang,
Cover your eyes.
Aang trusts Maddie completely and has no idea what's going on. So she does close her eyes.
She's going to put the cloth over Aang's eyes like a blindfold, and slightly over her ears to muffle sound just a little bit.
As the cloth settles over Aang's eyes, she seems to relax just slightly. Takes a deep breath. I think perhaps it might be easier to see her like this, but I need to. She trails off, taking breaths. Seems to calm down a bit, but she does seem very focused.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I know this isn't like best scenario here, but at least this will at least you have something to look forward to, right? Focus on that. Focus on the happy.
Aang has the petals of the flower that they played the She Loves Me Not" game. She's pinned those to the breast of this dress, and as Madigan says that, she touches one of the petals. Right. The joy and the happiness that thou hast brought to my life. Right. Perhaps we may attempt it anew.
Okay? Yeah, we can try again. Here. Leave that on and just follow me. And she kind of holds her hand in like a leading kind of thing.
Aang will follow after. Clop, clop, clop.
Hmm. Okay. So, where do you lead Aang to?
Slowly towards the door. Wait, is there a back door actually, or another entrance of any sort?
With the way the building is laid out, you're not able to actually get to it unless you hop a fence, which you can do.
Mm. Is the fence like a backyard area?
It leads into a backyard shipping intake area. If you wanted to get back there on your own, you'd have to run down the stretch of buildings to get around it.
Okay. Yeah, no. She'll lead her towards the door and kind of gauge her reaction as we get closer.
Okay.
Shall I roll again, God?
You may. With Maddie helping you, I will give you a +1 to make it an even plus, or it would give you a +8.
All right. Oh shit! I got an 18.
Hey.
18 plus 8. That's a number. 26.
26. It is enough. You, with Madigan at your side, and you refresh for my memory. Did you go around to lead her into the back?
No, just the front entrance.
Just to the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna try and, if we can get in, find a side table that's a little easier to get
Okay.
to.
Sure. So you get to the front door. We're going to cut right about as you're getting there. I will say to Willow, Paige, Pierre, and Dee Dee. God, I fucking can't remember her every name. But to the remaining four, you all get there just in time to see Maddie, like, basically hand holding Aang to walk her in the door. And in the amount of time that you kind of took to emotionally prepare your Aang for social, Electra, you just went in, right? Are you waiting for this to happen, or did you just go in?
Oh no, go in.
Okay. So you go in. As you walk in, the bar it's not packed again, but like there's enough room in here that you can maneuver around, but there's no real open tables. But you see at the bar, it is unmistakable because Hawk is a large-sized person, and has that very, very easy to spot sword. You see off to the side, back facing the door, the like broad-shouldered, white-haired Hawk with like the red tabard kind of like scarf thing, and she is like elbows on the counter, just kind of leaned into whatever she's drinking.
She'll kind of lean up. Like, is she near like the bartender?
Yeah, she's at the bar.
Yeah, okay. So she'll go up to the bar next to her, to the bartender, and like motion to Hawk. Feel free to cut her off whenever you want. She's going to drink you out otherwise.
Hawk like kind of rouses and turns, and just like she starts up and is like, "Hey, who the hell?" And then sees you, just goes, "Hey, you're finally here. No shit. Oh, thank God." And she leans back, like a sigh of relief. You can see there's not like a very, very deep tint to her cheeks, but a little. She puts a hand over her face and just kind of chuckles a little bit, just goes, "Oh, jeez. I thought all you kids were dead. I swear I saw in a dream or something, I had just a clear picture that y'all had died somehow. I wasn't going to let myself live it down. But y'all made it here. What took you so long?"
The Fae.
Her eyes like kind of go wide. Her eye kind of goes wide for a second. She just goes, "Fae? Did you ever run in with some Fae?"
Multiple Fae.
Kind of like does this gesture of like, "Oh," and she'll take a sip from her drink, and then she turns to you and like one hand around her drink, other hand on her knee, and she just goes, "Anything happen?"
I'm pretty sure we're no longer welcome by the Queen of Broken Branches, and also some other stuff. But you'll see the other stuff.
She blinks again and just goes, "The Queen? You met the Queen?"
We survived the Queen is more correct.
She nods, like as if to kind of emphasize the point, like, "Yeah, survive is right." What's all this other stuff? I mean, you're not bringing package, are you? I mean, if you are, I mean, I could help.
We couldn't find it. She refused to help us.
Well, she kind of does like a wave off gesture, just like, she doesn't hardly like people to begin with anyway. How'd you end up getting to talk with her? She doesn't like people enough to just out and about come out to talk to us.
You'll see the reason within the next minute, I imagine.
She see her like furrow her brow and kind of squint. She doesn't fully understand what the catch is, but she just kind of shrugs. Like, all right, well, is everyone else on their way here? And I'll give you yeah. She'll ask that.
Yeah, they'll be here shortly.
She shrugs, and then she'll kick back the last like little bit of her drink, and then she'll like reach for a water skin and just start to swish water around in her mouth for a little bit. She'll wipe her mouth, cinch the water skin, and tie it to her belt. And she like starts to talk to you, and she turns, but she looks at you and just goes, "Oh, well, I'm glad to see that you're all okay." And she looks and sees Aang and Maddie. Are you side by side, or are you elbowing one into the doorway after the other?
Maddie is probably in front, standing sideways, kind of leading her in by the arm. Kind of like walking a blind person kind of thing. Trying to be gentle.
Okay. So, you see Hawk standing there, like tall and broad as she ever is, and she is staring seemingly at you, Maddie, with a bit of disbelief.
Hey, we made it! Got a surprise for you.
She doesn't say anything.
At the sound of, I assume Maddie is speaking very clearly, so Aang has an idea which direction to go in. As soon as Maddie says this, there's just this quiet, desperate Alexandria, and she starts walking forward, blind as hell, can't see a thing, but she starts walking past Maddie. And GM, if you will allow it for plot reasons, I would like to think that she does actually walk directly toward Hawk.
Yeah, you don't have to roll for it. You blindfolded stumble a bit awkwardly towards Hawk. Maddie, I need to know very, very strictly. Hello, Paige. You'll see. So, Maddie, I need to know very strictly, are you in front of Aang, or did you step to the side here?
She'll step to the side. Let her,
Okay.
Let her go if she's confident, but just kind of watching her.
Okay. Then let me do this really quick.
Concern, but excitement, happiness, because friends are meeting again. Isn't that great?
Yes. Let me do this really quick. So, go ahead and everyone roll me initiative.
Ah, you motherfucker.
I stopped paying attention for 2 seconds. Why are we rolling initiative?
What type of initiative are we rolling? That's what I want to know.
Aang, you are rolling perception, and you will have. I won't. You know what? Blindness won't affect your initiative in this case. I think.
Mhm.
Well, no. You know what? I'm sorry, Aang. I have to do it to you. You roll initiative at a -5.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine with me. I rolled a 20. PT
Holy Christ!
Lord, accurate! Oh my gosh!
What the fuck?
So that's a nat 20 minus 5 is 22.
Okay, so with a 22, let me. I want to change this. How do I fucking?
I'm
update?
sincerely missing something. Why are you rolling? Did you say why?
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna find
Okay.
Yeah, we don't fucking know.
So
Okay.
You didn't miss
So-
anything.
Maddie, you walk in here. Whoops, I didn't mean to click on you, Ang. Maddie, you walk in and you like, ta-da! We got you a surprise. Present Ang, who is blind, like awkwardly, like groping forward to reach to Hawk. You have trained with Hawk a lot, and in your experience with Hawk, when she started training you, once she kind of got into the swing of things, her training was very authoritarian and like brutal. She is the type of person to like beat you senseless and give you band-aids and be like, all right, we'll spar again in 2 days. Like, that's just how she is as a warrior, and that has always worked for her. In that amount of time, in the literal years that you have spent like training and getting used to her motions and her movements, there is a split second that you have where, like, as you do that presentation gesture, you see the, like, every muscle, and you recognize it. You could name them if you knew the names of the muscles, but you see every which muscle twitch in her face, in her eye, in the flinch of her fingers around her hands, and she is going to charge and attack Aang. That is a striking pose that you see her going towards, and you have a split second to react. What are you doing?
What kind of strike? Is it with the sword? Is it a punch?
Sword.
What kind of strike? Sword?
Sword.
Maddie is going to see that. And her instincts are going to kick in. And she's going to go to block it. Like, literally, like, swap places with Aang and block with the if it's okay, the handle part of her hammer.
Yeah, so if you want to say use 2 actions, I will say you can move and jump in the way and intercept the attack. And it will make you the target of whatever charge she does.
Sure.
And did you have you have one more action to do?
Not sure what else I got here.
You have rage.
I don't know why Maddie would rage here, though. That's the thing.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
They're like a subgenre of rage that's just confusion.
I will
Confusion.
I will say that if you want to mechanically activate rage, it could just be like primal instinct takes over and you're just like, something's wrong, and then you just react. So you can in effect rage, but you're not actually like mad.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will take this offer. Where's my rage? Pop it though. Where's rage? Did it use it? I clicked it.
I'm not sure if it did.
Oh, apply effect. There we go.
There you go. Enraged. Awesome. So you're raging and you are intercepting Hawk. Hawk, that is your whole turn. So It will now be Hawk's turn. Hawk is fast and very, very strong. She, in a fluid, like lightning motion, reaches up, grabs her sword, just jumps forward. And Maddie, you are only able to catch it by virtue of like seeing that instant before it's too late. And the clash can be heard from outside the building. Like Paige, Willow, Pierre, and Dee Dee can all hear this. Aang, what is your AC?
much lower than is listed.
Or sorry,
Uh,
Mang. Fucking
Maddie?
Maddie. Yes.
Currently, it is 18.
Okay. Let me do one of these. So. Okay. So she critically fails. So I'm going to give you a critical fumble on Hawk. I will say you can make her accidentally deal damage to herself, or you
No.
can give her a circumstance penalty until the end of her next turn.
I
So
don't
that
know
she's
what
like a -2 on her tech.
Okay, I guess that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to fucking hurt her. Hell no.
Yeah, it makes sense. So Hawk charges forward. There is this like crushing noise of weight as she kicks off of the wood. Electra, just in the amount of time that you took to like say hey to Hawk and basically like, yeah, we're here. Yeah, we met the Fae, like all that, whatever. She seemed totally normal. A switch has flipped in her, and she goes into full warrior mode. And you see her take off, and there is a resounding clang that just is everyone in the bar is like stepping away and backing up as like chairs and stools get scooted over, tables are moved, just like the sheer chaos of everything is happening now. Hawk is just she's looking past you, Maddie. She is furious. And she that's not all of her actions technically. No, that is because she had to draw and do that. So with a free action though, she is going to like regain a little bit of composure and like look at you, and with just the one eye, she's gonna be like, get out of the way.
The hell is wrong with you?
Hang, stuff's popping off. You hear the sound of telltale violence that has erupted literally 5 feet in front of you.
Aang will pushing up the blindfold be a action?
I'll say it's a free action to de-blind yourself.
Yes, Aang de-blinds, and she sees Hawk for the first time in quite some time, looking very, very different than she remembers her being. And Aang is just overcome by this sense of guilt and shame and longing and just so many things all at once. And Aang is going to try and I think, let me see. She's going to move toward Hawk. I'm just trying to figure out how.
Mm-hmm. You could use 10 feet of movement to squeeze through on either side of Maddie.
Yeah, I think she'll squeeze through to this square. I can't move myself. Oh, now I can. Sorry. So she'll squeeze through over here, and she will, as she does, put a hand on Maddie's shoulder and just tell her quietly, Marta can thank thee for thy care, but I can handle it from here. And she turns her attention to Hawk, and just looks at her with this pure longing in her eyes, and just absolute love and sorrow at the same time. Alexandria, please, there's no need for a fight.
Shut up! She is like gritting at her teeth, and it is seeing her now with just bleach white hair and wrinkles all over her face and skin. Her hair is cut much shorter than it used to be. Or well, it's actually not cut because canonically no, she actually keeps it tied up. But her hair has lost all of its color. But there is still like all of the ferocity that she has maintained through the years is present.
And Aang doesn't wince at this or even seem all that surprised. There's no need for Madigan to be involved in the matter. Why will you not let me help you?
She is. If you want to use an action to try and use diplomacy to.
Yeah,
persuade
sure,
her,
I'll take that.
You absolutely can. Go ahead and roll me a diplomacy check.
I rolled a 10. Aang's diplomacy is on a different part of the sheet. Did I not put any fucking ranks in it? There's no way I did put ranks in it. Oh, there it is. 7. Okay. I think that would probably count as a 19 with the +2, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's a 19.
So with a 19, you see her like her one good eye. There's a muscle twitch, and she does not seem to heed your words at all. She is lost in her own discordant rage.
Can I use my last action to... I don't know how we would represent this, but Aang would reach out and or step closer.
I don't want to count it as a grapple check. What is your intention by reaching out? Is it to beseech her better nature?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see here. I'll say if you want... I would roll me a charisma check, and you can consider yourself trained.
Okay.
So, it would be like your... It would be equivalent to diplomacy, but it's not going to have that effect.
Okay. That's a 16 for +7 +2, so that's 25.
25. Aang, you reach a hand out. What do you do?
She reaches a hand out, and Aang is as gentle as she could possibly be. I did not know before how I could help thee, but I do now. Please, Alexandria, let me help you. There's no need for any of this fighting. There's no need for you to hurt Madigan.
She is gritting her teeth, and she doesn't interrupt you this time. So you can hear a little bit of this getting through to her. I'm going to apply. I will call this frightened. But it isn't exactly frightened.
All right.
Okay.
That's my turn.
So, Dee Dee, Paige, and Willow, you hear this shit pop off, and Dee Dee immediately just goes, "Whoop! Looks like the founder." Y'all want to go take care of that? I don't think I'm welcome in there.
Why do you not sound
Paige,
surprised?
she shrugs and she just goes, "I just know the kind of woman she is." If you want Dee Dee to do something, you can order Dee Dee to do something, but if you don't, Dee Dee is going to basically watch.
I'd rather Dee Dee do that, honestly.
Not my clowns, not my circus.
Willow's just gonna like point to like I assume there's like benches and
A
such
bench,
in this,
yeah.
like, town square. Like, sit.
Dee Dee puts up both hands, just goes, "Well, if you're going to twist my arm about it," and she's going to scuttle over to a spot and sit very primly.
First action, stride. Second action, sit.
Third
Third
action,
action,
sip.
pull out a newspaper.
I like that better.
Sip tea.
Sip tea while not looking, pointedly not looking at anyone. But yeah, Paige, you can go ahead and take your turn.
God, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, Paige has no idea what's going on in there.
Like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, cool, Maddie and Ang are going, what the fuck? The fuck?
This is like distinctly inside the thing. Like we can't see what's happening. We just hear some shit popping off.
Correct.
Okay.
You hear what sounds like pitched combat. Like there's no mistaking the sound of like an aggressively heavy piece of metal crashing against another aggressively heavy piece of metal.
All these different fucking movement speeds. Okay. You what? 1. This is as close as she can get.
With one
So-
stride.
She doesn't need to be closer. Oh wait, that's a... Give me my fucking token. Ooh, there we go. Oh boy, what can she see anything from here? A little closer? What's happening?
I'll say from where you're standing, you can see the back of Maddie, and Maddie is like leaned backwards, holding her hammer out in this blocking gesture, and you can see this bright red metal thing pressed against it, which you can only surmise is Hawk's sword.
Okay, what's the range on this? I think at the feet this goes to a 10 feet cone, which is... Oh, if I was like 5 feet closer, I think I could swing it.
You could do it.
I have to do another stride though, so I wouldn't even be able to use the thing because it's 2 action.
Ah, I see.
Because, okay. So I want to use Bless. So, oh. You know, I don't suppose there's a 5-foot step in this system.
There is, but it takes an action.
Bruh. What's the point?
So that you don't provoke attack of opportunities.
Ah, okay.
Which is important for this fight.
Okay, cool. She is going to go ahead and... You know what? She just sees what? Maddie's blocking something red?
Yeah.
Very, like, a fight stance. Well, fuck it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. She doesn't have context yet. So, safe bet. Lingering composition. Inspire courage.
Okay, cool.
I need to do a performance check.
Yes.
That's going to be... God, it's going to be a 12 plus 8, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Let me make sure. Inspire courage. I don't know if it has a set DC or not.
So the first thing I'm doing is lingering composition, which is the performance check. So
Gotcha.
usually standard difficulty DC.
Oh, okay. The standard
put it
level
in
DC.
there for you.
And what was your roll?
I got a dirty 20.
Yeah, that'll get there. It's a normal success.
Okay. So, Inspire Courage is going to last for 3 rounds. You get a
Hey,
plus
that's a
1, and you'll get a plus 1, and you'll get a plus 1. Except the mystery person attacking Maddie. They don't get a plus 1.
Okay, so
Dee Dee gets
everyone...
a plus 1 to reading the paper.
Dee doesn't get a plus 1 either.
Oh.
So everyone gets a plus 1, including Willow?
Plus 1 to
Yes.
attack, damage, and save against fear.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Then if that is your
Yep.
last action,
Yep.
okay,
Because she doesn't have context.
fair enough. Willow, you're up.
So is the measurement tool accurate?
Yes, it is accurate.
Okay. I think that gets me here. And I also assume I see just the back of Maddie's head.
You can roll a perception check for me really quick. But even if you failed this, you could see what Paige sees. But because you're kind of slightly more in line with it, if you roll good enough, then you could tell like a little bit more of what's happening.
That's a 25.
Oh yeah, you can see that Hawk is bearing down on Maddie with the red sword.
I wanna bargain with you here.
Uh-huh.
For a spell of mine working a little differently than it is stated. So I have a cantrip for winter called Needle Darts.
Okay.
And it says you shape 3 needles out of a piece of metal in your possession and send them flying in a tight group towards one target.
Yeah.
Can I just have her like be able to control nails within the range? And so like just some nails pop up out of like the floorboards?
Yeah, you could use nails in the floorboard, or like so in the middle of town there is an actual well adjacent to the bar, hence the name. So like you could actually like wave your hand and make the bucket shoot out 3 metal spikes, or make it like nails shoot up out of the floor. I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, so it's within 60 feet. So I'm going to just have some nails pop out of the floorboard, trying to get at Hawk's hands, so that maybe she will just fucking drop the sword. She doesn't know exactly what's going on, so she doesn't want to like shoot anything big at Hawk right now. But she needs to back off of Maddie. I'm just gonna cast it through here because that's easier.
Yeah.
This is just standard needle darts. +1.
12. 21. So how does Willow make this look?
I imagine she is mindful of there being other people around, so she is just going to like try to get Winter to pull on whatever whatever nails are like the closest underfoot for Hawk, and just slice along the back of the hand, so that it's so fast and so minor that aside from Hawk getting injured, nobody would really notice.
Okay. So you like kind of subconsciously direct Winter, and she, without even missing a beat, she doesn't like run. She just apparates inside of, like, she would be in this square, invisible to everyone. And as she stands there, she kind of assesses the situation with a hand on her chin and just goes, well, this is a mess. And she's going to poke with her index finger several nails that are in the floorboards near Hawk's feet. And as she touches them, there's just a little hum, and there's no visual to go along with it. It's just the slight buzzing of the nails in the wood, like they're little bees, and then they shoot up through the floor. Maddie, this happened so fast, you're not even sure what happened. It looked like something just fell, kinda? It's hard to say. I'm gonna give you a bonus on this. I'm gonna make Hawk roll a reflex save.
That was 6 piercing.
6 piercing. Okay. Where's my... This one? Yes. Always HP is the best. Whoops. 6. Okay. Hawk, you, like, there's a bit of blood on her hand and, like, around her wrist. She doesn't let go of the sword, but the attack doesn't seem to hit anybody else and is only really easily visible to the incredibly perceptive. But Hawk will super
Or those with a
pass.
sense of smell.
True. But if that's your turn,
I think that's all I can do. Double check. Yeah, needle dart's a 2-action thing.
Okay. Then next it would be Electra.
So Electra just kind of blinks. So just so I'm understanding, she's not your friend.
She doesn't reply. She's too focused on the situation. She can barely hear your words, if at all.
Alright, well, this isn't going to work, but I am going to attempt to disarm.
Go for it. You could also try to intimidate her as well, if you wanted to try that. Intimidating her, disarming her, tripping her, and I will allow you to try recall knowledge if you wanted to try that.
I know mechanically Electra probably has a shot at the intimidation, but just like the mental image of Electra trying to intimidate Hawk is very amusing.
Right?
So, recall knowledge? What's my recall knowledge? I don't think I have a recall knowledge. I have lore.
Oh, sorry. It's your thaumaturge feature. What the fuck is it called? Esoteric
Oh my.
lore?
Okay.
Yeah, if you wanted to use an action to try and recall something like to help you here, you could do that.
I would love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Go for it.
Did it roll?
I see nothing as of yet.
Refreshing my page.
If you have a d20, you can roll your actual d20. I can tell you your bonus.
Hold up. Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, your esoteric lore bonus is 7.
That is a 16 plus 7, so 23.
23. I will say with a 23, you're trying to rack your brain because it's like, human. What do you know about humans? Well, generally stabbing, bullets, fire, all the kind of regular stuff tends to work. But there is one thing that you can pull out of this. I will give it to you if you spend one more action. You don't have to roll anything. I'll just give it to you for free. But 23. Okay. So with a 23 and 2 actions, you're like racking your brain for what's going on, and you're not able to parse why Hawk is acting like this. But assessing the situation, there's clearly some unsaid things that have gone on, and you're not sure what Hawk's specific weakness would be, and then you remember after a second, she has a terminal lung condition. And she has not broken out into a coughing fit yet. But that would be devastating to her.
I will exploit vulnerability and try to disarm her by elbowing her in the lung.
Oh god, you're gonna fucking kill her.
Mm-hmm. No, it won't kill her. It won't kill her, but it'll definitely help. Yeah, go for your exploit vulnerability.
Okay. That doesn't it doesn't really do anything. Just adds damage to it. Like it doesn't give me a circumstance bonus, but I
Oh.
guess it does give me a +1 from Paige's thing, right?
Yeah, you do get a +1. So I will say that if you
and it
want
does apply
to...
weakness to them.
Hey. Yeah, so you're rolling with a +8.
That is. That is a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. I will. I will say you can do this, but it will deal no damage.
That's fine.
You can get the effect of it. So you elbow her in the stomach, and her armor is real thick, and she, as a person, is just also seriously thick. But you like get down, elbow her right in the floating ribs, and you can see her side like she hacks a little bit and coughs. And roll me 1d3. Or, well, I mean, I guess if you could roll a d6 and divide it by 2. A 2. Okay, cool. So with a 2, you elbow her in the ribs, and she like collapses to one knee. She's still standing, but she starts like hacking and coughing really badly. Like, just she can't seem to talk, but she's trying to get words out, and she looks at you, and she is staring pure venom at your direction, Electra.
Calm the fuck down and answer me.
Talking is a free action, may I?
Yeah.
Aang, at the sight of this, is just teeth bared. What did you do to her?
Just give her a coughing fit. Maybe she'll calm the fuck down. You're welcome, by the way, for defending you.
I'm gonna do something because I want to play with this mechanic. It might just keep an eye on your health really fast for Hawk. I click at this.
Okay.
I do not have that permission. Okay, never mind.
What are you trying to do?
I actually selected Hawk as a target, and I was going to click the damage button from the needle dart to apply full damage.
Oh, that's lame. I'll see if I can get that to work at a later point. The automation is weird because I have a lot of modules going right now. Pierre is going to...
Indeed, what the fuck is Pierre going to do?
He
Take the shot, Pierre.
He has no shot in this race, like no dog.
He's going to like run up to be beside both you and Paige, Willow, and he's just like, what is going on? Why are they fighting? I don't understand. I thought they were friends.
You have exactly as much information as either of us do.
He like is floundering, and he like reaches to his waist and puts a hand on the gun, and then just hesitates, and he's like, what do I do? I'm not sure how I can help.
I don't think shooting them would be a good idea.
He is just like chewing his nails. He's going to ready an action. And if he will have an action to do anything that any of you can think of whenever you like until his next turn, in which case he'll get his normal action economy. But he's going to ready an action that any one of you can choose for him to do if any of you can think of any way he can help.
Unseen servant, Pierre?
Just fucking yeet Pierre out
He's like, I don't know how to help. They're fighting with the weapons. Do I shoot them? I don't want to shoot them.
Oh,
You could have him
okay.
aid somebody.
That's true. He could aid. He will aid. He can aid both Willow and Paige. And he actually has a really good odds of doing this. Let's see. 1, 2. Well, he is able to aid you, Paige. So you will get. Let me see really quick. Make sure that I understand.
What does aid do?
I think it provides a flat plus +1 bonus to any simple skill check or attack.
That's what he's currently double checking, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So that's critical success is 2 to the triggering check. It's +1 otherwise.
Yeah, so it's just you get a +1 on the next time you attempt a skill or attack.
Okay. I don't really plan on doing anything that would require a check.
That's fine.
So I would say, can it go to Willow?
Sure. I will say that his +1 can go to Willow instead.
Okay, just because I don't want it to get wasted.
Totally fair. He rolled for both and passed 1. So I will say that Willow, you can have the +1 to your next attacker skill.
That because in this group, Paige goes first in that little trio. That he was going to help Paige, but she's already moving.
Perfect. But that's Pierre's turn. Maddie, it's your turn.
I really, really, really hope this works.
Head butter.
Close. So what conditions does Hawk have right now?
Right now, Hawk is, I'm going to call it Beseeched 1, which has the effect of, it's basically mechanically frightened, except it does not go away so long as Anghared is nearby.
Okay.
And aside from that, she is also slowed 2 because of her coughing fit.
Okay. And does she still have that -2 circumstance or no?
Yes, she still has the -2 circumstance penalty on attack rolls.
Okay.
You get a
Maddie
+1.
is confused as all hell as to how all this shit's happening. But seeing, Hawk go into a rage and then Angharad also getting angry at Electra freaking elbowing Hawk, it's like, what the fuck? So since she kind of took a knee, right? Does she still have the Red King in her hands?
Yes, she is still holding it.
That's fine. I'm gonna try. I'm assuming it would be a grapple, but essentially the idea is to grab Hawk by her shirt, roll onto Maddie's back, so like roll back and flip Hawk onto her back out the door.
Oh, so
You're trying to Aikido throw her?
Yeah, you're trying to do the full-on Aikido, like rolling backwards toss?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Let's fucking go.
These 3 need to be separated.
Well, I'm trying to help. Why am I the villain?
No. You just need to be separated because Aang is being angry at you. So it's just like, the fuck is all this chaos for? But yeah,
Everything was
anyways.
so fine 5 minutes ago. Everything was perfectly fine.
I thought things were gonna go well here. Okay. I don't think I have any bonus. No, I have a +1.
Thanks, babe.
Add +1.
Oh man.
18 for a 26. Okay. With a 26, you you're still kind of pressing against the sword that Hawk is bearing down on you with, and you like in that little moment where Hawk is like hacking and coughing, you're able to hold her back with just your one hand holding the hammer, and you reach over underneath, grab the cinch of like her leather on her armor, and you rear backwards and fucking yeet her. She will absolutely go ass over tea kettle, like backwards. I'll even give you an extra 5 feet.
Could it be here, please?
I'll say
angle it.
with a 26 and with the way that the doorway is, you're not critically succeeding, but you are succeeding. So no, I'll say you could
Okay.
have her go right next to you, or you could have her go where she is right now.
Okay. How many actions does it count as?
I'm gonna say that will count as. I'll say it counts as 2.
Hmm.
I have a
Grab
follow-up
and then
question.
yeet.
What's up?
Can I use this is a non-standard use of this skill, or rather this feature. Can I use my Relentless Stalker here to move with Hawk?
You don't need to worry about that.
Oh, okay.
You're next.
Oh. Well, then it's kind of important that I do move, isn't it?
Maddie is just like, throw everyone.
Everyone!
I will say if you want to, as a reaction, use Relentless Stalker to pursue Hawk, you absolutely can. It will
You can
technically
try.
happen because it will happen before Maddie's action will pop off, unless
It
you
goes
do it
on the
before
stack.
Okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
it's a
You know what?
reaction.
You know what? You know what's great about this?
Me what's
Maddie
great.
has no escape. Bring it.
Are we playing Yu-Gi-Oh now?
What is this?
Yeah.
You want to build a
That's what it
stack? We'll
sounds
build a
like,
stack.
honestly.
All right, no escape on the stack.
Holy shit!
The
What the
trigger is a
Yeah.
foe within reach attempts to move away from you.
Am I a foe?
At the moment,
At this
yes.
moment,
I will
At the
say-
moment, everyone is a foe.
it's Maddie versus the world.
PvP zone engaged.
So Aang, you go ahead and make your move, and I will say in that instant, you are like, Maddie, you're like so keyed the fuck up that you're just like, Hawk, I'm gonna, and you see a blur of Aang movement, you're gonna be like, fuck it, and you're just gonna dash. And you could both use your reaction movement abilities.
Where are you going? Where are you
Aang,
going?
Aang is going to this square here. Ideally, she would actually want to share square, but I don't think that's feasible. So she's going to go over here at least.
Maddie's
You
gonna
could-
go here then.
I'll say if you Aang really want to share a square, I will say that you can share a square with Hawk, but she is on her back. You have to stand over her.
Sure, I'll take that.
Okay. I don't know if there's a way to move you like
Then I guess it
partially.
ends here then. Sorry.
I wanna know if there's a way to move you partially. Yeah, I'll say you are categorically on standing over top of her, like one leg on either side of her. But for the purposes of I can't get it to fucking work, you're gonna stand right there.
Yep, that's understandable.
But Maddie, you still have an action.
Yeah, Maddie
This
would
is
like
Dragon
to-
Ball's fuck, dude.
would like to grab Aang next and move her over here, either behind in the one director or here. That's the goal.
Aang, are you gonna contest
Separate.
this?
Aang will contest the fuck out of that.
Okay, so you are going to go ahead and roll me an athletics check, Maddie.
Okay.
This is going to count as a reposition attempt, which is going to go against the reflex save of Hawk. Or not Hawk, sorry, fucking reflex
Aang Herod.
save of Aang Herod, yes.
Let me check something, because shove would be better than right.
Shove, yeah, shove for you would be better because that's going to be against a fortitude.
Okay.
Christ, where is it? Where's the fucking movement?
Trying to find them again. Disarm, grapple.
Athletics against fortitude. Success is push target back 5 feet. You can stride after it.
For shove?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I guess I'll shove. The point is, she wants to get between the two of them.
Yes.
It's kind of the goal.
Yeah,
Yes.
slide.
Where's my
All right. How do I see what the fuck my fortitude DC is? Is it just 10 plus my save?
It's on the left
Yes.
side.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 plus my save.
Correct.
I'm going to fail this.
You're gonna be fine. But because you had already yoked Hawk, Maddie, because you are shoving and repositioning, this will take a -5 because you are attacking, quote unquote, more than once.
Okay.
But you still have a pretty good chance because Aang is very, very light.
Minus.
I think you still technically have the +1 from Paige.
Yeah.
You do.
Yep. To both attacks and damages.
Okay, let's pray.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh.
That doesn't work!
You know, I'll get
It's-
the hero point.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Got it. Might as well.
Let's go.
Oh man.
This is really close to a 50-50 shot. Go for it, Maddie. Oh!
Wow.
It's even closer. I unfortunately no. But you like Maddie, you go to try and fucking shove Aang, like to get her away from Hawk. Aang, she can't touch you. She can't catch you.
Too fast, too
is-
furious.
You can't see me!
It's like trying to catch wind blowing through the grass. Like Aang, the first time, this is not really like meeting her in combat so much, but like you get a distinct sense of like, oh shit, she is the float like a butterfly ass type of person, huh? Like imagine the boulder fighting Aang. But yeah, Aang, you're just deftly moving out of the way of all of Maddie's attempts to grab at you and to throw you out of the way. She's trying to get you away from Hawk. You don't want that.
Maddie, as a free action, can speak, right?
Yeah, for sure.
She threw Hawk and she tried to shove Aang in. She's yelling at the both of them. Just like, what the hell is wrong with you two? This wasn't supposed to happen like this. I thought we were friends.
From the ground, you hear Hawk say, "You were never supposed to find out about her."
What is that supposed to mean?
It's Hawk's turn. And she has one action, and she's gonna do her best to make it count. Shit. You threw her ass hard. So I'm gonna make it a coin flip. Maddie, high or low?
Low.
Okay. Do you want her to attack you or Aang?
I know
Attack
which way I
Maddie.
want that to go.
Attack Maddie.
Attack Maddie. Attack Maddie. Okay.
Yeah.
She like looks up at Aang and is just like breathing red hot fury, but she like tilts her head back and sees you and argues with you, and she is mad. She's going to rear back that red sword, and in one fell swoop, she is going to do she's going to take a huge penalty for this because she is on her ass. But she's going to try. What is her attack bonus? There we go. Holy shit. Maddie,
me.
what's your AC?
Crit me. I'm 18.
It's not a crit because she's taking a -10, but she did hit you.
Damn.
So with the Red King, she whirls it around, and she is going to, in a very, very bizarre, like, movement, she'll spin the sword and strike, not to cut you, but like the sword has this sort of dull reverberation to it. You always kind of suspected it was magic, Maddie, but this is just proof positive. There's some fucky magic shit going on right now. She wheels the sword around. You're going to take, that is, where is it? Nope, not that one. Okay. You can take 13 damage, and when that sword, like, when she swings it around and, like, hits you across the midsection, even though the sword, like, it does cut into you, she, like, swipes it, that reverberation, it, like, pushes you. Make me a fortitude save.
Okay.
It is a DC 23 fortitude save.
Ooh. And I get a +1, right?
You do. So she spins the sword around and like strikes you. It hits you, and there's that brief moment where you're like, "What?" And then you hear a crunching, crashing gesture, like a bunch of rocks being dropped all at once, and you get thrown 10 feet back.
Oh.
And you get knocked on your ass. I should put her.
Rude.
This is such a fucking anime ass fight. I love this.
She's still prone. You get knocked prone.
Everyone's prone.
These fucking
Everyone's
conditions.
prone.
Hawk, like, she leans up on an elbow after hitting you, and she stares at you, Aang, her head, and she's about to say something. She opens her mouth and just starts coughing, like, bad. Coughing really, really hard into her fist. And you can see there is just her fist, her gloved hand is caked in blood. Not from any wound, from the disease that Maddie had warned you about. And she loses her other 2 actions. Aang, it's your turn.
Joe, I would like to do a deeply homosexual thing that is not in the rules.
Oh boy.
Oh, please keep it rated R at most.
What did you think I was gonna do? Jesus Christ!
Hey, listen, I don't know how deeply homo you can get, but
We're not going down that route because I see the jokes, I see them, and
She just felt the grin that immediately came across my face at that comment.
what do you want to attempt?
Okay. I would like. She's still on her ass, right?
Yes.
Aang would like to initiate a time-honored tradition, really. I mean, who among us hasn't? She would like to initiate sit on lap smooch partner.
Okay. I'll say this will take. It'll take 2 actions because you are trying to beseech her again, right? Unless you're trying something else.
I said smooch. I said smooch, sir.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Does that provoke?
You know what? You know what?
It absolutely does, doesn't it?
It does. There is no way that you can gingerly like lean down and try to kiss your partner in a way that does not open you wide for a sword attack. And
Yep.
Hawk does have an attack of opportunity.
I knew she would.
So you start to lean down. Hawk is going to capitalize on this. That's pretty good. What's your AC?
Not great, but my dex is pretty good. I think it's 18 because I took my armor off and it's still showing as 18.
Because you are because
She's a rogue.
You're a rogue, yeah. So you are just naturally dodgy. So you like lean down and Hawk is like hacking into her hand, and like you get closer to her and you see a lot of emotions flash across her face. If you want to roll me a perception check to sense motive, you can.
All right. Aang's not trying to dodge, by the way, at all. So
she's not. Okay.
That's a 10 on this roll. What the fuck is my sense motive? Where is it?
It's your perception.
Oh,
sense
perception.
motive is an action. It's weird.
Okay, 17. I'm gonna go ahead and add the +2. I assume applies, so that's a 19.
Yeah. So, with that, you're able to see like in her eyes there is just a type of horror that you can see. She is deathly frightened. There is the rage, all of that fury and anger. That is all to cover up the fear and like sorrow and anguish that is below it, and you can see straight through it. Just it pierce all of that bravado and rage, and you're like processing this as you lean down, and you get rudely awakened. As you are seeing all of these emotions cross over Hawk's face, you feel a sheer, just unimaginable type of pain. It is both like steely in a way that only you can understand truly, and it is also it also rings of something far deeper. You take what's her bonus before I say a thing? You take 16 points of piercing damage.
Oh my god.
And you take an additional 5 points because it is steel.
Additional 5 because of the metal, right?
Yeah, it is a magic metal sword that is categorically silvered and cold.
I love that AFI song. So that's 21 total damage. Joe, would you believe me if I told you I have 20 HP?
I would believe you. I would absolutely believe you because I know Aang. I know what she was in for. So you like describe to me Aang like bending down, and then like the sword hits her in the abdomen, and it just there is a fabric tearing noise followed by the sound of flesh tearing, and to everyone around there is no blood. There's no organs or blood that come gushing from Aang's wounds. It is like you still hear all of the noise as though there was flesh and like innards being punctured, but there's not viscera. It is strangely absent. But you see this just bright red, vicious looking sword go straight through the abs and out the other side of Aang.
Oh boy.
I think Aang, let's see. How
Oh.
am I? Hmm?
So, I will say that you can still roll your check because you did spend your 2 actions. It does provoke, but go ahead and roll your diplomacy check, your diplomacy-esque check.
It's not diplomacy I was going to roll, Joe. It was the other thing I was going to roll.
Wait, what's the other thing?
The other thing, Joe.
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay. Then it is.
Do you,
It
do you have
will-
a skill that's titled gay? Is that what that is?
Essentially, in this case, yes.
Go ahead
believe it.
and
I'm jealous.
roll. This is going to be a flat D20 check. This is all the beans that you need.
All right. No, Joe, I have 3 hero points. I'm just telling you that right now. I've been saving them up like a good cat.
You need to beat a 19.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, that first one's a 9, so we're gonna spend a hero point. 20!
Fuck. Okay. I honestly did not anticipate you actually succeeding. Here we are.
Always
Look at us!
expect the
Oh my
unexpected.
This
Look
is
at that!
to give the rest of you some context. This is like in the same vein that I was like, man, it'd be crazy if Joseph Diego died, and then the session where he died, and I was like, oh. That same sort of like theoretical thing happened. I was like, man, it'd be crazy if this thing happened, and then it popped off.
Man,
so
was that just a fucking car bomb?
What?
basically,
Yeah?
the long story. So
Aw, I had a fun
I
thing
want-
planned.
I want you to describe to me, Kira, how this looks as you reach down and you beseech Hawk, who is like furious to the point of like just blind rage. But you are run straight through the center by this sword. But you manage to pull something off that otherwise would not have worked.
I managed to fuck over all of Joe's plans. That's what I managed to do. All right. So Aang, as she approaches Hawk, is extremely determined, and when she gets that feeling of that fear, there's a deep sorrow and anguish within her own heart, an empathetic darkness that starts to enter. And when she's moving ahead, she starts with, "There's no need to be afraid." And that's when the sword hits. And the sword pierces her straight through the center, but even though she sees it coming, how could she not see it coming? Both with the size of the sword, the size of Hawk, how well she knows Hawk, all the things that she's seen over the past few years. She doesn't move away. And even as the sword pierces through her, she continues to advance without much trace of regret or fear or anything of that nature. And she steps forward, sinks down onto her knees, and is now, I imagine, eye to eye level. And just as she starts, she can feel herself losing consciousness. She rests a hand on Hawk's cheek and looks deep into her eyes. "Alexandria, I love you in all your ruthlessness. There's no need to be afraid. I'm here now." And she kisses her. And as she does, her hands move very slightly over Hawk's face. It's just a small, small gesture. But Joe, would you like to take it away from here?
Yeah. So as you lean down and kiss Hawk, it's everything seems to happen in slow motion. Like all of this stuff is happening and everyone is reacting, and there is a lot of movement and suddenness to what's to all of these goings on. And in that moment, that gentle kiss, there is a steady light, and if you weren't there to see it and someone were to describe it to you, they would likely call you a liar. But you can see, as all of you around, you can all see that as they have this intimate moment in the midst of this fucking chaos, Hawk and Aang, they both start to glow. There's like at first a gentle white light that outlines them, like they are both somehow in the sunset at the exact time, silhouetted on it from all sides. And then that glow starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter until it is like blindingly bright, to the point where you have to shield your eyes. And as that happens, there is that flash, and then everything draws to a screeching halt. You hear the sound of fabric tearing and flesh being moved as Aang is flopped onto her side, onto the ground, run through by this cursed weapon, and the only real noise that permeates the air is the dull sizzle of it against her skin. But Hawk is standing there on the ground, and not only does she look no longer enraged, she also has some slight color to her hair that was obviously not present before. And she is, all of that fury is just completely left her. She just sits there in bewilderment, as if she had just woken up from a completely wild, crazy dream. I don't have a perfect token for this, but I have... Not that one.
I don't think that's the right one.
What?
Who's
This is
that?
bullshit. Hold on. This token should be this one. That one. But you see it's not that much color back. I don't have a perfect token for this, like I said, but you see a hawk with a little bit of orange and gray in her hair. Still otherwise like looks very similar, maybe slightly fewer wrinkles. But she is on the ground, only partially aware of what's going on. Paige,
Mm-hmm.
roll me an occultism check.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a dirty 20.
A dirty 20? That's perfect, because there's one thing that you know, Paige, very well. You know the face of someone when they have lost memory.
Oh
This
my
is-
god!
This is the stupor of someone who just forgot what they were doing.
Okay, that's a conversation with Herod later.
Mhm.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
It's
cool.
very normal.
Anyway,
So we're going to stay in initiative order for the time being,
please.
because Aang is currently at dying 1.
Willow can keep her back up if Willow's turn
Paige.
rolls around.
Paige is on the way.
It will be Paige, your turn first. Dee Dee watches this whole thing and just like is hands on her knee, just like, wow, and does not have anything else to say.
She's got her popcorn.
Got her fucking tea.
Remember,
Fucking
you can't heal
thriving.
this woman.
Yes, she can.
She has something that's not going to kill her.
Specifically, like a thing that doesn't do positive
Mhm.
energy.
Mm-hmm. All
Okay,
right, fucking.
Go ahead.
First action, fucking stride, fucking is like, okay. She sees this go down. She's like, okay, I'm learning a lot of things. Cool. Sees the fucking trademark of memory loss, and she's like, okay, that's gonna be a conversation for later with Herod. And then just like next second, in her mind, just like, if Herod survives, holy shit, and starts running.
Mm-hmm. Aang is the sword is not out of her. It is still run through her middle.
I'm imagining it's still the fucking sizzling burning sound, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yep, okay, so let's just take that out. Just remove that. And Paige is gonna cast Soothe.
How many actions is Soothe?
2.
You don't have 2 actions.
I don't?
You're gonna have to use an action to pull the sword out.
A fucking...
It's a big
If
sword.
you cast Soothe, I'll pull the sword out.
Okay.
Okay, you can cast Soothe.
Okay. Imagine she just fucking runs and just fucking into a crouch next to Herod. And immediately is like hands like, I don't know, on a pulse. And it she starts pulling handkerchiefs out of her fucking sleeve. And she starts wrapping Herod. She doesn't see blood, but something's wrong here. She knows Hawk's sword. That's not a trick sword. That
Definitely
sword
not.
is in there, so some shit's going on.
When you
Still
cast
cast
Soothe, the wound it very subtly starts to knit itself back together. It like the Fey biology is very receptive to healing. And when you like reach down, you, Paige, over your shoulder, you hear the voice of Mr. Tall Tales just crouch by you, and he, like, before you can react, he holds a finger up to his mouth and just goes, shh. Now, they can't hear you. They can't hear or see me, but they can hear and see you. Keep your mouth shut. I'm just watching. Do your thing. And he, like, waves a hand towards Aang. And you can see that he is very intrigued by that sword.
There's probably like this slight little pause before she continues, focusing on bandaging the Aang as she casts Soothe. And by the way, Aang, heals incoming. That's gonna be a good 11 HP.
Oh, she's like back.
It does a D10 plus 4.
Don't get super excited because, like, the wound closes, Aang. You're still, despite the healing, due to the nature of the sword and the wound, that wound closes around the sword, which I want you to imagine, like, the idea of puncturing a wound and then having that wound sizzle the moment it touches the thing that punctured it, and then closing all of your insides around the thing that sizzles. Like,
yeah, it's not great.
You are not perfectly conscious, but in this semi-fluid state of like semi-consciousness that you exist in, pain, pure pain. All you can really understand from the outside right now is that it is searing, burning pain. But you are alive. Pain means life.
Can't pull the sword out, but you're not dying. You're welcome.
Thank you, I'll accept that.
Paige, or sorry, not Paige. Willow, if you don't mind, you can roll me. Let's see. It is a roll me a winter check.
Winter check, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a math. 27.
Mm-hmm. Holy shit!
Told you it's a lot.
That's almost a critical success.
Yeah, I rolled a 19.
Wait, you have a +1 from Paige's Bless, don't you?
Yes, but this is a skill check and it doesn't apply.
Oh, fair enough.
Yes.
I will say that, like, as you
Which
are.
gets a +1 from Pierre, right?
That's true. You do get a +1 on a skill check if you want this. If you make it a critical success, from Pierre, you'll get a lot more bang for your buck.
Fuck it, why not? I'm not gonna do with anything I was gonna do.
So you watch Paige like rush over and like baseball pitcher or baseball slide down next to Angharad and try to keep her tied to the earth. And you don't see it, but there is a moment of hesitation, and in Paige that Winter sees, and Winter is not standing next to Paige, but is standing very close by. And as Paige starts to heal Aang, and that hesitation, the moment passes, Winter like comes back to you, and there is not an air of suspicion, but like that air of like knowing something. And you see Winter just kind of shake her head and be like, something's not right with that girl. More not right than we first thought.
Trust you'll elaborate in a moment. She's kind of like mutters under her breath.
She nods and just kind of fades into the background. It is your turn, Willow.
Willow doesn't really know what the fuck is going on, doesn't have the, like, doesn't know what, like, doesn't have the recognition of a, like, confusion because of, like, memory shit. So she's gonna move over here. And because, like, fucking, Hawk is attacking people and just nearly killed Aang. Aang is still down. Imagine Maddie is pissed off and starting to get back to her feet on the other end. She is going to pull out her flame sprayer and use it as the breathe fire setting to just have a cone of fire go just above everybody's heads.
Like,
this is Manda fucking
settle down.
Yeah, she's gonna go like just above everybody's heads, and as she is doing that, all of you need to stop and talk like the adults that you all are. The next person to attack anyone, I will personally fire this at them. I don't think any of you are flame-proof.
Okay. You are readied up with your flamethrower. Electra, shit has calmed down.
She just sighs and goes over to Anharad and just tries to yank the sword out.
Yeah, you walk over and carefully like maneuver the sword and pull it out of Aang's wound. Aang, you will take 6 damage as the sword is wrenched from you, and it has nothing to do with like Electra doing it hard at all. The sword just bites on its way out.
And Herod is still extremely in pain, I imagine, as the sword comes out and just kind of clasping at the wound. And not necessarily gasping for breath. She's stopped breathing, but she is just overwhelmed by the pain.
Now remind
Should I have
everybody.
counted to 3 first?
I'll just remind everybody that Aang did get another potion of the icky stuff that made her feel better. She has that tucked somewhere.
Yeah, she does.
And then for her remaining action, Elisha just like still holding onto the sword, just kind of drags it back inside, sits back where Hawk was, and just like, can I get around to drinks, please?
The bartender has like retreated to the far end of the bar. Him and all the other patrons have like glued themselves to the back wall, but the bartender will like very awkwardly grab a bottle and just hand you the whole bottle.
She just opens it up and immediately just begins drinking.
Okay.
With
And
outsiders in this town.
and with that, the threat has mostly passed. I'm going to end the encounter. So, let's do exactly enough. There you go. Everybody levels up.
Woo! Woo!
So Joe, how cool is the sword that I'm holding onto right now?
Do you really want another fight?
Look, I'm just saying it's in my hands. I should at least know how cool it is.
It is definitely a fucky magic sword. I will get you some stats on that. But that is a perfect place to wrap up. If you guys have any last little parting words you'd like.
Yeah, I imagine Maddie's got quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with what the fuck?
She just shouts, "What the fuck?"
Yes.
Is this a bad time to talk about the language thing?
And I will, just to make it clear, Maddie is included in Willow's threat of if she is still in rage mode and wants to go attack somebody, she will get burned.
It is like a 60% chance that Maddie will take the Burtons at this point. Maybe 70.
I am sworn to carry your burdens.
Aang is, as she gets over the pain, her eyes land on this restored Hawk, and she smiles in a bright, pure, and innocent way, a very youthful way. None of the party, I think, has ever really known her to look this youthful. And she will reach out with I was going to say a bloody hand, but it's not a bloodied hand now, is it? And set that on what I imagine is the only reachable part from the ground here, which is a greave. Sizzle, sizzle. And looks up at Hawk and goes, "It worked. You're beautiful. As handsome as a wolf."
Hawk is barely conscious, foggy headed as all hell, and she puts a hand on her head and looks at you, Aang, and like squints and just goes, "Who are you?"
permission to respond, or should we leave it there?
That's where it's gonna. That's where we're gonna leave it.
Okay.
We'll leave it on the who are you.